The power, and it's really easy to create such things. Easy to create a language understanding model. Now, there is also something that we could do is we could add voice control to this. So we can add a cognitive services, and I'm going to create a new one here. So let me create let me paste it in here. And create a cognitive services. Okay, created it, and now I'm going to select, of course, West Europe again. Going to give it a name. So let's call it AI Fundamentals Cognitive Services. Let's see if that's still available. It is. Pricing tier, I'll choose the standard. I understood the notice. And I'll click create. So that will now create my cognitive services. Let me quickly go back to the exercise here. So I have created that, and now I get the key and endpoint for my cognitive services resource. So I go back to the portal. I go towards the resource. And here on the left side, in this panel, I see keys and endpoint. I click on that, and I'll see again my key and endpoint. So I'll copy this, copy the key, go back to the exercise, paste the key in this box of code right here. I'll go towards the portal again, copy the endpoint, I'll tab towards the exercise again. Okay, pasting in the endpoint, and then the only thing that's still there is my region where I have my cognitive services in. And as you already knew this, my location is West Europe. So I'll copy that and I'll paste it in as well, West Europe. Okay, I'll press run. Ready to use cognitive services in West Europe. Okay, well that's great. So I've added the cognitive services. I already have my trained language understanding model. I'll run this, but it's already there, so it's just for you to see. Oh, it's actually downloading it again. Okay, and it's now installed this custom Python package for cognitive services, so we can use it in this notebook. If you're not familiar with the programming language Python, don't worry, it's not required for this course. Now again, we have a little box of code here that's going to use an audio file and interpret the audio file and then use it on the language understanding model. So the audio file is turn the light on, and it will recognize this and then actually turn the light on. And if you're done with that, I would advise you to go through the other exercises as well. We have an exercise around text analytics, speech, and translation. So really dive into this natural language processing. That brings us to the end of this module. So what did we do? We looked at an introduction of natural language processing, what it is and what it is in Azure. We looked at cognitive services and the text analytics, speech recognition, translation, and language understanding. With that, let's move on to Module 5. And in this module, we're going to talk about conversational AI. What is conversational AI? And we're going to look at responsible AI guidelines. Remember, folks, when we talked about this in Module 1, responsible AI, well, this also holds for bots, and I think it's an important topic. After that, we're going to look at the services in Azure, the Q&A maker, and the Azure bot service. But before we dive into that, let's start with conversational AI concepts. Because again, what is conversational AI? Well, conversational AI, builds on other AI workloads, in particular natural language processing, but also a bit of machine learning and sometimes also computer vision. And in general, when people use the term conversational AI, they're referring to bots. About bots, often people associate the term bot with something on like an interface on a website, but it's much more, right? It can be on an email, social media, telephone, and many more examples. And it can also be used in a wide variety of different scenarios, like customer support, right? When asking frequently asked questions, instead of having a